Let's see. Waiting. Hey, Nick Williams here, and we are live, and I am bringing you today our daily Medicare and coffee show from MedicareProTV. And once again, I'm happy to be here, and I have a nice cup of hot coffee. This is my second cup. I've actually cheated on you, and what I've done is I've had water in my coffee cup because I get up so early sometimes I have too many cups of coffee, and by the time I get to this show time, I can't drink another cup of coffee. That'd be way too much. Yesterday, excuse me a moment while I take a drink. Yesterday, I had a little bit of backlash because I was kind of making fun of a TV personality for crying on national television. And I guess that is a little callous, but I stand by my words. I just think that that men should be a little bit stronger and not cry on national television like that. It happens, but not to the point of being ridiculous about it. Let's see. I guess I'm old school, and there's a lot of things that go along with that, and that's just the way it is. We're going to talk about scams, and I'm going to go to some articles here that, now I'm going to tell you about a scam that, let's see, hold on a second. I'm going to tell you about some scams that I have seen. Now, first of all, let me tell you this. Medicare will not call you. They will not call you, and if you get a call, you don't need to say, are you from Medicare? And I know you get calls, most people do. They're not from Medicare. There's exceptions to every rule. But Medicare does not call Medicare beneficiaries. So you're not getting a call from Medicare. So you don't even need to wonder. You can pretty much, if somebody calls and they're talking about your Medicare, you can pretty much tell them, you could tell them, well, you're not from Medicare. Where are you from? You could say that. What's the name of your company, and what are you selling, if you so desire to kind of get down to brass tacks of why that conversation, if you're going to entertain the conversation at all. Most people don't even answer the phone anymore. I've had several scams that my clients, my personal clients, have been involved with. Now, I'm going to go through some of these scams. I've got a list of them here that we can go through. But I'm going to tell you again about this several scams. I had one where a client, it was a woman in Simpsonville, South Carolina, and she got a call one day. Her son was going to University of South Carolina. Not her son, her grandson. She gets a call that says her grandson is in Canada. And it was a police officer. The police officer said, ma'am, your son was attending an event. He got caught with marijuana. It was a musical festival or something like that. He got caught with marijuana, and he is in jail. And we need to, basically, we won't press charges or anything, but he has to leave the country. And he needs plane fare. Isn't this ingenious? So he said to call you. He said, because he didn't want his dad to know. And so this woman sends I think it was $700. And then they call back and they say, well, ma'am, we have the plane fare and we thank you for that. However, there is the matter of the bond or something of that nature. I don't remember what it was. This was 5, 6, 7 years ago. And she said no. So it just struck her as odd. And again, she didn't call anybody because she wanted to keep this private between her and her grandson. And they knew her grandson's name. They actually put somebody on the phone, and they had a muffled voice saying, "Help me." I'm laughing, but that's not funny at all. And it really caused my client a lot of distress. But I mean, just that somebody would do that would go that far. So she said no. She called the father, and then they finally got a hold of the grandson. He's in South Carolina, Columbia, South Carolina. He was at school. So he had no idea what was going on. But they knew some information about him. So these are people that prey upon college students. And I always say, you send your kids to colleges these days, beware. That's most of, I won't say most, but I'll say many, because I don't know if it's most, but I will say many of these colleges, it's all about the tailgating. It's all about the party. And they are whooping it up. And I don't know if it's at a level that they haven't done before, because we always think that the kids are worse with every generation. I mean, I was a kid of the 70s into the 80s, and, of course, we were worse than the kids of the 60s. But, it was the long hair and stuff like that, and the rock and roll, and now it's rap and whatever. But some of that stuff is kind of alarming. But it was unfortunate that they preyed upon this woman. And then the other one is there was a woman in a retirement community. She lived in a affluent area. This is the Augusta Road area. There's a little retirement home there. And again, not nursing home. It's a retirement place, and it's fairly pricey. She was old. She wasn't on the 100% on the ball. Somebody got with her on the phone and was kind of befriending her. Then they cleaned her bank account out. They somehow got her to buy something or do something to give them her bank account information, and they took like $30,000 out of her bank. This was an agent that worked for me, found out about this, got the client's sister. She just didn't know what happened, and she was actually befuddled about all this and was so upset. And she had money in her checking account, and she couldn't understand why and what happened. Well, the agent figured it out for her, got her sister involved. They all three went to the bank. They opened up a new checking account. And here's the tragedy of this story. The guy calls back like a week later and says, "Ma'am, I'm sorry." And he just apologizes. He says, "If you would give me your bank account information, I will put the money back. I'm so sorry to have done such a terrible thing." And then he took like $7,000 more out of her new checking account. Just ridiculous. I mean, obviously the woman, her family had money. She wasn't quite wealthy herself, but she wasn't, and it was a family of means, put it that way. Ridiculous. So I'm just going to go down the list here. Medicare and health insurance scams. Let's see what they have to say about that. Know the difference between identity theft, Medicare fraud, and improper care. Okay. Yeah, there's a difference. I don't think that there's any reason to not know there's a difference. First rule of thumb, know the difference between the three main types of scams: identity theft, Medicare fraud, and improper care. Identity theft occurs when someone pretending to work for Medicare asks for your confidential information. Again, we know to never give that information out over the phone. And let's see. All right. A legitimate Medicare employee would never ask for your personal information over the phone or email. They already have it on file. Another common type of scam is Medicare fraud. Medicare fraud happens when Medicare is billed for services or supplies you never got. This is where the medical facilities are fraudulent. And it may be an entirely fraudulent Medicare facility or medical facility that isn't even real. If you suspect Medicare is being charged for a service you didn't ask for, call 1-800-MEDICARE. Report this. They have caught some medical facilities in some massive scams where they were ripping off the government to the tune of billions of dollars. Not to mention prescribing the opiates to people and basically promoting this opiate epidemic. That is criminal. That is more criminal. These medical professionals should be put in jail. Again, not responsible ones that are giving out medically necessary painkillers, but they were just pushing drugs for a period of time. And not all of them by any means, but there were basically drug pusher doctors out in society, operating legitimate businesses, pushing drugs. Watch out for anyone asking for personal information. We know this. Compare plans with a trustworthy advisor. Of course, insurance sales are also biased. There could be coverage options that are much better to fit your needs. Yes, you need to compare. You do need to compare. You need to have an agent that you can trust. But the problem is that when you call your cousin, brother, or neighbor, they don't know either. And they act like they do, but they don't. It's hard to find somebody that knows. You need to get an agent like me who knows what they're doing, who is exposed publicly, such as I am, and who has a lot to lose. It would never benefit me to hurt one Medicare patient or one Medicare beneficiary to serve me in any way, shape, or form, because I have a legitimate business and because I'm honest. But I have a legitimate business, and it's valuable. So why would I cheat somebody, or why would a good agent? So here's my recommendation is, everybody call me for your insurance. Everybody call me. No, know your agent. Get somebody who is, and that's not necessarily your cousin's friend, because that is not going to be by any standard guaranteed competence or honesty. It might be just somebody they used to work with, who they know. So I'll send Bob your way, and it may not be good. Never sign a Medicare form without thorough examination. Again, you got to have a good agent. When in doubt, call Medicare. Good luck with that, because they don't know a lot oftentimes. You got fantastic Medicare people on the phone, and then you have Medicare people on the phone that they don't know anything. They're basically reading off a screen. Again, you call me if you have a question. Counterfeit prescription drugs. This is if you're doing mail order. I'm not going to go into that. I say stay away from mail order. Now, if there's a drug that you can't get and you say, well, I can get it in Canada or somewhere else, and you're like adamant about it, do a lot of due diligence. I'm not sure. I'll make a note. You know what? I couldn't do that. I was going to say I'll make a note how to best research that and figure out how to do the best due diligence. But that would be irresponsible for anybody to help somebody obtain medicines like over the internet from another country. I think that would be something that a person like myself would probably get in some sort of trouble for. I would hope I would get in trouble for it. You can't have people telling people how to go into, illegally obtain drugs. Here's the best way to illegally obtain the drugs. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, what's this? Funeral scams. Funeral and cemetery scams. The FBI warns about 2 types of funeral and cemetery fraud perpetuated on seniors. One approach, scammers read obituaries and call or attend the funeral service of a complete stranger to take advantage of the grieving widow or widower. They attend the funeral service? Claiming the deceased had an outstanding debt with them. Listen to this. Scammers will try to extort money from relatives to settle the fake debts. Another tactic of disreputable funeral homes is to capitalize on family members' unfamiliarity with the considerable cost of funeral services to add unnecessary charges to the bill. Okay, there's always going to be bad businesses. It's like home improvement guys. There's a lot of good ones, and then there's some bad. Insurance agents, a lot of good ones, some bad. Doctors, a lot of good ones, some bad. Every category of society has that. Lawyers, all bad. No, I'm just kidding. I have friends that are lawyers that are quite that upstanding people. So, but I'll tell you what, I've had some bad experiences with lawyers. I tell you, I had a situation where I had to get a lawyer out of state, and that lawyer did nothing but lie to me. And it was a business dispute with a big company that I had, and I just wanted it to go away. And I eventually it wasn't going away. So eventually I called the other lawyer for this corporation, and I knew that lawyer because I worked for that corporation, and I had some dealings with the legal department for different reasons because I ran a agency for them, and they told me, they said, Nick, we've been trying to settle the whole time. My lawyer that I hired told me they won't settle. And I settled it on one phone call. It cost me tens of thousands of dollars to that lawyer. It was down in Florida. I couldn't get a good referral. I used a lawyer that I got from the internet. You know, you learn your lessons in life. They are expensive. And that lawyer he probably was a competent lawyer, but he said, I got an out-of-state guy. I'll just take him for what I can. He's not going to be a repeat customer. I'll probably not get any referrals from him. So I'll just juice him for what I can, get whatever money I can out of him. And he lied to me, and he overbilled me dramatically. I wish I remembered his name. I would say it. And then I would tell people in Florida, stay away from this guy. I can't even remember his name. I'm so disgusted with him. And the whole firm basically knew it because when I had to go to Florida to the firm, and I talked to multiple people, so they all knew. It's like a big posse of liars. Okay, I'll move on. Fraudulent anti-aging products. I will tell you what will help you in aging, and that is eliminating sugar. Eliminating sugar. And this means the bread. This means the rice. This means the potatoes. This means, it means cutting back dramatically. So what happens is you have all these things, these sugars, and they cause inflammation. And that's one of the things that they cause, as well as heart disease, diabetes, and things like that. But it's inflammation. You will feel better. I do it. I hardly ever eat any sugar. Now, I'll go on a tear here or there. I went out to Texas, Dallas-Fort Worth area, visited my brother, stayed out there for a couple weeks, a couple months back, and man, I tore up some hamburgers. They got some good burger joints in Fort Worth. They really do. But I felt it. I could feel it in my hands. Just from all the, I guess, a lot of salt or whatever, but just the swelling, not visibly apparent, but just that you could feel tightness, that your joints were inflamed because of all this food. Now, when you're 20 years old, have at it, you know. But keep in mind that that may come back and bite you on the backside later in life. All right, what do we got here? In a society bombarded with images of young and beautiful, it's not surprising that some older people feel the need to conceal their age in order to participate more fully in social circles and at the workplace. After all, 60 is the new 40. That's right. It is. 60 is the new 40. If you take care of yourself, I'm like beating that drum, aren't I? It's like, take care of yourself. Get out there and get active. If not, I still appreciate you, but I want you to, and I still want you to watch our show. It's like, if you're not going to take care of yourself, don't watch the show. No, I'm not saying that, but I want you to take care of yourself, even if you just got to get out there and start walking. Oh, and I did video that. I got my phone making noises here. Let me turn that off. I did video that super slow exercise regimen, so I'll put that on. I'll put that out sometime soon, and I'll tell you when it goes out. It is in the spirit. It is in this spirit that many older Americans seek out new treatments and medications to maintain a youthful appearance, putting them at risk of scammers. Okay, whether it's fake Botox, like the one in Arizona that netted its distributors $1.5 million in barely a year. Fake Botox. They get $1.5 million. Or just bogus things. Botox scams are particularly unsettling. Well, if they're doing a Botox scam, they're injecting something into your skin. So that's really bad. A bad batch can have health consequences far beyond wrinkles or drooping neck muscles. Telemarketing phone scams. Perhaps the most common scheme is when scammers use fake telemarketing calls to prey on older people who, as a group, make twice as many purchases over the phone than the national average. While the image of the lonely senior citizen with nobody to talk to may have something to do with this, it is far more likely that older people are more familiar with shopping over the phone and therefore might not be fully aware of the risk. You can call me if you need to. The pigeon drop. The con artist tells the individual that he or she has found a large sum of money and is willing to split it in person if the person will make a good faith payment. Okay, I know about this because my friend is a bankruptcy attorney. And he's had people, they call it the Nigerian letter. And they call it pigeon drop here. I don't know where that came from, but it's the Nigerian letter. And it reads something like this. Dear sir, dear distinguished gentleman or madam, my name is so-and-so. My family is of great reputation in the city of whatever. They'll have some place in Africa, whatever. The government has seized our funds, and we need a representative to basically what they'll do is they'll tell you, and this is what was told to this guy, they had to pay off the local mayor or something $10,000 in order to bribe him to allow them to release the funds. And if those funds would be released, then this person would give him 10,000, like 100,000, something crazy. And people invest in this and they keep putting more and more into it because they don't want to believe they've been ripped off. This one individual actually flew to England, met somebody in a park in London in a park, and gave them a bag with $10,000 in it. How do you get $10,000 in a bag in a park in London from America? You know, because I guess you have to withdraw it from Bank of America. You don't want to be carrying that money on a plane because that's a red flag. Fake accident employee. The con artist gets the victim to wire or send money in the pretext that the person's child or another relative is in the hospital and needs the money. There you go. In the example I gave you, they were in jail. Of course they weren't. Internet fraud. You know, oh my goodness. I got a text on my phone. It was Wells Fargo. It said there was $220 and I needed to go to this site. I needed to click through, and I knew it was a scam, but I clicked just to see what the site looked like, which may have been a mistake in itself, but they asked for personal information, and Social Security number was the second thing they asked for. That's crazy that somebody would give a random or an app based on, and it looked official. But you can't just go and put your Social Security number in. It was said you need to establish an account to receive this money, $220. I'd put my Social Security number in there or whatever, and they just scam me big time. A senior receives email messages that appear to be from a legitimate company or asking them to update or verify their personal information. That's ridiculous. I mean, they need to do more to go after these people. I don't know if they can. There's a town I read about in Russia. The whole community is in on this. Everybody is wealthy. And they're professional scammers. They go to school. All the kids are wearing Gucci and driving nice cars and stuff because the community simply is a criminal community. The whole community is criminals. And their business is scamming people in Western nations and, over the internet. Investment schemes. Oh boy, it goes on and on and on. Let's see, how are we doing on time here? Well, we are, 23 minutes in. That's all right. Homeowners reverse mortgage scams. Okay, I know a lot about mortgages. And it's the same thing. You don't want to give anybody any information. It's got to be reputable. If you can find somebody like me in that business, again, somebody like myself, I have so much. I'm so exposed that it's impossible. And to scam one person, they would basically, they could start putting out information that I've scammed somebody and just ruin my online image. That would be horrendous. That's a pretty safe bet to work with somebody such as myself. So somebody doesn't like me, they'll try to bash me online. Okay. Let's read about this reverse mortgage scam. A particularly elaborate property scam in San Diego saw fraudsters sending personalized letters to different properties, apparently on behalf of the county's assessor's office. The letter, made to look official but displaying only public information, would identify the property's assessed value and offer the homeowner for a fee, of course, to arrange for a reassessment of the property's value and therefore the tax burden associated with it. That's pretty sharp, you got to admit. Closely related, there is the potential for a reverse mortgage borrower to be scammed. Scammers can take advantage of older adults who have recently unlocked equity in their homes. Those considering reverse mortgages should be cognizant of people in their lives pressuring them to obtain a reverse mortgage, or those that stand to benefit from the borrower accessing equity. In this case, family members, they could be, they could be a problem. Sweepstakes and lottery scams. This is a big one too. I go in people's homes. Once they get on this list of these scams, it's like a lottery scam where they're like, it's like you won so much money or whatever, and then they don't get it, but there's a reason. Once they get these people, boy, they can really take them, and it's very, very sad. Okay, the grandparent scam. Okay, to address sweepstakes and lottery scams, just don't participate in that stuff. The grandparent scam. The grandparent scam is so simple and devious because it uses one of the older adults' most reliable assets, their hearts. Okay, this might be what I was talking about before. Someone will place a call to an older person when the mark, they refer to the grandparent as the mark, picks up, they will say something along the lines of, "Hi, Grandma, do you know who this is?" When the unsuspecting grandparent guesses the name of the child, the scammer most sounds like the scammer has established a fake identity without having done a lick of background research. Once in, the fake grandchild will usually ask for money to solve some unexpected financial problem, overdue rent, payment for cars or repairs, etc., to be paid via Western Union. Devious is the answer, or is the comment that I'll make regarding that. All right. I want to move on. I want to address at least one Medicare question. I got this question from, where's that from? Roger. And in his email, he emailed me a question, and he's at the beach. Or Roger, yeah, he said at the beach. So I don't know where Roger lives. I don't know if he's vacationing at the beach. I just got it, so Memorial Day week. He's probably on vacation there, but he might live there. But he said Roger, and then it was something referring to Myrtle Beach. About the Plan F, and if you have a Medicare supplement and it's a Plan F, okay, it's not going to go away. Your Plan F will not disappear. You can keep that thing forever, and you can sign up for another Plan F next year or the year after. Here's the problem. All the agents are telling people to get out of Plan F because it's going away. And the pool of people that are in the Plan F might dwindle down. And I'm going to advise people to get away from it because everybody's advising people to get away from it. And therefore, you could get exposed. You get in a Plan F, you're in that pool, that book of business, the numbers dwindle down, and then there's only unhealthy people in that group. Well, that could come back to crush you. That could be very, very bad for you financially if you cannot get out, if you cannot make a change. If you have a Plan F, I am going to recommend getting out, not because it's going away, because it's not for you. It's only going away for the people who turned 65 in 2020. But again, everybody's pushing seniors or Medicare beneficiaries to get out of the Plan F. You don't want to get stuck in it. If you have a Plan F, call me. And it is financially beneficial for you as well because the amount of money you'll save will exceed normally the Part B deductible, which is your only other cost with a Plan G over a Plan F. So again, this is comparable to what I was telling you the other day about Social Security. Back when they started Social Security, which is in 1965, I believe it was in 1965. Again, sometimes my facts are off, but I'm almost certain it's 1965. And I believe the first Social Security beneficiary was it Mimi Hoover? I don't know who it was. But it was the president's wife. at the time. I don't know, but they did. They had a big thing on the White House lawn where they issued the first. That was that Medicare? That may have been a Medicare card. Forget all that. My memory fails me. I'm embarrassed, but that's just what happens. I'm confusing Social Security and Medicare, and I'm not sure which one it was. But I believe the Medicare started in 1965, for sure. Having said that, there were 15 working Americans to support every individual that was going on Social Security, that was on Social Security in America. Now, today that number is like 2 to 1. It's dramatically, or 3 to 1, or maybe 4 to 1, it might be 5 to 1, but it's going down, 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 down. There are going to be more seniors, as I reported in this on Medicare Coffee previously. There are going to be more retirees than young people in like a handful of years from now. So that's a big problem. It's the same thing because there won't be enough good new money coming into that Social Security pool to pay the old people. That is comparable to what will happen with the Medicare Plan F. There won't be enough new people coming in. And that Plan F is wonderful because you don't pay a dime for anything hardly at all. Just some, your drug cost with your drug card, whatever that is. That's a great plan. But I believe you have to get out of it. So you call me and I'll help you out. And you can get my number on my website, MedicareProTV. I'm glad to help you. Oh, there's the phone ringing now. Hold on. No, I'm just kidding. All right. I wanted to show you one last thing. I bought some pants from Costco. I shop at Costco a lot. And I bought some pants for $11.99, some jeans. But they weren't. They were just. I was like, okay. And the reason I did this, I told you earlier in the show, I was in Texas. I was in Fort Worth. It was like 2 months ago. It may have been longer. Time flies when you're having fun, and I am having a blast. But I was in Texas, and I needed some clothes. I've got plenty of jeans that I paid, too much money for. So I go to Costco again. I was in Texas. I was in Fort Worth, staying with my brother. I needed I need to get a couple pair of jeans because I stayed there for over 2 weeks, and I just didn't supply. I just got my car and left basically, and I was working out there, so I had work clothes, but then I realized, and it was cold for some reason, so I needed to buy some jeans. Again, I'm being redundant here. I go to Costco, I buy these jeans, they're $13.99. And I'm like, I don't want to buy a bunch of new jeans. I said, well, I'm just out here working. I just need something to bum around in. So I bought the jeans. I'm wearing them right now. And I show you, and the reason I show you is there's something about these jeans. They stretch. and I wore them just for you guys, but they stretch. They're stretch jeans. But they're good. These are Urban Star jeans. Again, they're at Costco. You got that big table of jeans there. I'll tell you what, again, I wear these jeans. You can't really see them. So I can't really show you, but they look like any other pair of jeans. I guess because of the way that they're made, they have a little bit of elasticity to them, which I guess I call them old man pants, I guess. I'm not fat, but I don't need, but it's actually, they're comfortable, actually. So I don't know. There's nothing wrong with that. But so then I took it to the extreme. Now, what you don't know about me is that I'm a trainer of insurance agents. So I train agents, and I have agents all over the country from, I was going to say Hawaii, but I don't know if I'm training any in Hawaii. But certainly from California to New York to Florida. So I have, so there's a lot of new agents and they're struggling financially. So I'm like, well, heck, if you could buy a pair of $11.99 jeans and they're fine, well, if you're a new agent, that's what you should do. If you're a new business person, that's what you should do. If you're on a limited budget, that's what you should do. But those $11.99 jeans, they were not acceptable. But these $13.99 jeans, $13.99. $14 jeans. They are they look fine. I mean, they really do. I don't know that they have a different feel, and they have this elasticity to them. And what I also found is that over the course of the day, if you're wearing these, that they kind of sort of, well, you know, because of the elasticity, they'll kind of like get out of shape or whatever. So anyhow, old man pants. Is there anything else I wanted to go over? Oh, yes, I was told by a friend. It was a woman, a very close woman, you know, a family member. Okay, so it wasn't just a friend. That it's not nice to make fun of people when I was commenting about the person. In this case, it was yesterday. I was commenting on Jimmy Kimmel crying on television. And I said it wasn't manly to cry on television. Yeah, so, you know, that, you know, and I was thinking about it. I was like, well, I was just joking around, right? Now, that's okay. You know, but things have changed. And you also see mostly young men. You see some older men. And they're like feminine. They they wear women's stuff. You see men wearing capri pants. I don't care what you say. Look, and I'm going to get in trouble again. And I guess I just don't care. But men wearing these stuff, men with their hair dyed. I mean, and these are young men, often boys. But my son does that, and the girls love him. But he's 22. You know, he does that, and girls just chase him around, and I guess Eddie looks quite cute with that. But I don't know. It's everything. It's the femininity of the young man that's not. They call themselves, and this has been a term for like 20 years, I believe. It's like metrosexual, and I don't know what the heck that's going to be. It's like they're cool, hip, and they kind of just like womanish. Feminine is okay. But it's not okay. Do not dress like a woman. But there are no young men watching this, I don't think. But tell the young men. They don't want to hear it, though. They don't want to hear a thing. Listen, if you need anything, call me. If you let's see, go to MedicareProTV.com. You can contact me right there on that site. And I'm happy to help you in any way that I can. So that's it. I enjoyed having you here. And I'm going to go away now. And I hope you have a wonderful day.